Hi, today I'm going to show you some of the new features in the recently released version 7.0 of Stonefield Query. The first feature I'm going to show you is a change we made to the Auto Fit to Page feature. Let's edit this report and go to step 5. I'm going to preview the report. And you'll notice that there are 4 fields in this report, and because they don't take up a lot of space, we have some empty white space on the right side of the page. Let's turn on Auto Fit to Page and run it again. And this time, Stonefield Query spreads the fields out across the page, so we don't have all that extra space at the right. The Auto Fit to Page feature has been there for a while. In addition to spreading out fields across the page, if you have more fields than will fit on a single row and would therefore be split onto a next row, the Auto Fit to Page feature automatically reduces the font size so that they all fit on one line. So it actually has both features now. The next feature I'm going to show you is how you can sort crosstab reports by total. Let's edit this report and let's preview it. And you notice that this crosstab report is sorted by country and within country by city, so it's alphabetical by that. But what if I want to come out with my biggest sales first? So let's close this and let's go to properties for the data field. And this new control sorting allows you to indicate how this will be sorted. I'm going to change it to sort on descending order. Now when I run the report comes out sorted from highest to lowest on the totals. The next feature I'm going to show you is how you can control the number of rows and columns that appear in a dashboard and how you can make them cycle. Let's edit this dashboard. And you'll notice that there are new controls here to indicate the automatic number of columns, so Stonefield Query will calculate that automatically, or you can specify the number of columns that you want. So in this case, because I have 4 reports in the dashboard, and I've only specified 1 row by 2 columns, I can only show 2 at a time, Stonefield Query will automatically cycle. Let's preview this and see what happens. You can see that the dashboard has 2 cells here, and that every 5 seconds, which is what I configured it for, it automatically cycles through. So it shows the next 2, and then back to the first 2, and then back to the next 2, and back to the first 2, and so on. The next feature to show you is that you can set the min and max values for a gauge. Let's edit this gauge and go to step 4. Let's preview it. And you'll notice this gauge goes from 1,000 to 1,500 rather than starting at 0. That's controlled through this new min value setting, and you can also control the maximum value. Then, of course, the needle points to the actual value, and the goal marker shows you where your goal is on that gauge. The next new feature is how you can control the title for right axis charts. Let's edit this. This report has 2 y-axis fields, total price and quantity. And we can now set the title for the right axis, which is something we couldn't do before. Also, the legend automatically shows the titles rather than the field headings. One other thing this chart shows is that you can show the chart total in a title by specifying there's a built-in variable called chart total, and that will display the chart total, in this case, in the chart title. If we preview this report, we can see that we have different scales for the left axis and the right axis, different titles, the legend shows the correct titles, and we see the chart total here in the header. The next new feature is that we now support drill downs from quick reports, from crosstab reports, and from charts using some kind of aggregate date value to a report that has an ask at runtime filter condition. You'll notice that this detail report, which will run in a moment, has a filter condition of order date is between a particular date range. If we run this sales summary report, you can see that it's showing our sales by quarter. So this is an aggregate of those dates, quarter 2, quarter 3, and so on. What's new is that I can now click on one of these bars and have it drill down to that detail report so that it properly uses the date range for that quarter or that month or that year or whatever that aggregate of the date was. The next new feature is that you can now do a stack chart when you have 2 value fields. Let's edit this And you can see that I have two value fields. I have a total price and total cost. What's new is that you can now specify that you want these stacked. Let's preview this. And rather than seeing the columns side by side, you can now stack them automatically like this. The next new feature is support for rich text, whether it's RTF or whether it's HTML. Let me show you what I mean by that. Let's go and preview this report. You'll notice that is formatted text here. Different font sizes, different colors, different backgrounds, and so on. That's controlled if I go to this, the Properties dialog. On the Format tab, there is a new option here, Display As. The choices are text, formatted HTML, or formatted rich text. So that way you can tell Stonefield Query that you want to see not the codes that are contained in that field, but the actual formatted text. The next new feature is that you can specify the value that the user chose in a custom filter description. This report has a filter, and we notice that the filter has a custom description of customers who live in, and then in curly braces, the word value. That means it will take the value that the user chose and substitute it for this placeholder. If we preview the report and choose a different country, when we run it, the filter condition shows the value that I chose here in the custom filter description. The last new feature to show you is that we have a new aggregate date type on day. If I edit this report and go to the order date properties, you can see that I chose to display the date as the day rather than the individual date. When I preview it, we see that the dates come out in chronological order: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and so on. So that's it for the features I wanted to show you in version 7.0 of Stonefield Query. As usual, if you have any questions, feel free to contact us at websupport@stonefieldquery.com or by creating a support ticket on our website, www.stonefieldquery.com.